Using the Deutz yesterday. We're building a patio. We had some extra stone dust. Maybe there was 3 or 4 scoops worth, about a half a yard probably. And I decided I'd just bring it up to the road and dump it into the dirt road to get rid of it. And I just put it at the end of the driveway and smooth things out a little bit there. Anyways, on my last load, I went up there and I approached, instead of dead on, I approached it a little bit at an angle. And there's a big drop, like a hump at the end of the driveway. And the steering flexed a lot, the front axle. Left tire went down, bam, like that. I heard this big pop. So, uh-oh, what was that? And I put it in reverse after I dumped it, and I hit the steering wheel and it wouldn't steer. So crap, what happened? But, you know, I ended up snapping the top off the spindle. Let's check it out. Well, I was using the Deutz and I just broke off the top of the steering over here. The whole kingpin just broke right off the axle, so I could not steer. That's awesome. That's pretty exciting. Left front spindle here. You can see the metal in there just literally broke. There's this heavy duty arm that goes onto the spindle that the power steering hooks onto. There's a bolt that goes through there, and then there's 2 keys in there. Maybe the bolt doesn't go through, maybe it just presses against those keys, but you can see the carnage here just literally snapped off. And if I look down here by the tire, the other half of the axle still in the tube there. That's not cool. And then whatever you call this joint that it attaches to here, this popped apart. And I don't know if that's able to be popped back together or not. I kind of feel like it isn't. But I'm not clear about that. I might just get a new one of these, what do they call them, heme joints, and get them at McMaster Car. I want to say they're like 15 bucks, so I don't know if I'd be better off to get a new one or try to put this together. I looked in the manual for this tractor at the parts, and it does not show this big ball joint deal as the part, I do not believe. But it's got a pretty big thread on here. It's probably a 1/2 inch. The parts manual claims that this nut here is a 3/4 16 thread, and it is pretty big, so it might be. But anyways, I got to figure this out because I'm stranded here. I was able to get it back here by backing up and kicking the tire or grabbing it and turning it left to right. Another problem is these tires are all dry rotted and shot. You get so much weight in this loader when it was full of stone dust that was a little bit wet rather. The tires really need to be rated for a heavier load than a normal tire. So I got to see if there's a such thing as a tire rated at a heavier load. Maybe I need those tri-rib tires on here or something. But these tires are shot. They're all dry rotted. On the bottom of this one, there's actually a blowout in the sidewall. I don't even know how the thing has air in it. It's so bad. But that's kind of my dilemma here. So I guess the first thing I got to do is try to get this shaft out of this piece here. I'm not going to do anything until I get a new spindle. Deutz 1914 Ultima. And it's in the backyard back there next to the tent garage. Oh, other side, right behind me, by my finger. And that does have the same spindle, I believe. According to the parts diagram, it does. But I didn't want to cannibalize the spindle off that. I want to be able to move the thing. They don't make any of these parts anymore for these tractors. You know, they're the same as a Simplicity Sunstar, Deutz Allis Ultima, And they also branded one under Massey Ferguson as well, but they're all made by Simplicity. They're all the same thing. Simplicity was owned by Briggs at the end. And as you know, Briggs went bankrupt, got bought by a hedge fund or whatever. They don't make any Simplicity stuff anymore. I believe they discontinued the whole line. But all these parts are NLA. You look them up on all these sites, they all say no longer available. So I was able to find one on eBay. It cost 75 bucks for the spindle. It looked like it was practically brand new. So I ordered it, and it will be here this week. So stay tuned and we'll figure out what we're doing with this turd. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to take that end off the steering where that ball joint goes in and see if that ball can go back in there. Not sure that it can. I don't know if I can put it in the press and push it in, or if I should just get a whole new joint. But that's the deal. Sucks, huh? Well, here's the steering joint off the Deutz here. Again, this is the spindle that's broken off. And it looks like somebody's welded this at some point in time. This does not look like a factory weld. And I got my new spindle today. And it has the 2 keys in it, just like this one does. But what I'm trying to figure out here is this ball joint here, this thing. I want to get this off of the shaft. And I don't know how this would reattach through there. I think it's broken and it just pulled out. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. And I was trying to unscrew this from the power steering shaft, but this whole shaft is just spinning in the cylinder. So I'm not really sure what the best way of handling that is, to be honest with you. You know, I don't think this thing, none of this part goes in the cylinder. So if I held this down here with a pair of vice grips or something, that'd probably be okay, but I don't want to break anything. Anyways, that's the deal. I put a vice grip. I had an old sock laying in the garage, and I put that on there, and I literally just hit this with a wrench without any force barely, and it just loosened right up. So let's see if we can unscrew this. I don't think this is a factory part. I really don't. And you know, I'm trying to see if there's any kind of markings on here with anything about this, but I don't think it's factory. And again, like, I'm concerned that it blew this out, and if I put it back together, that it's just going to fall apart again. You know, I'm not sure how you get it back together, if it just pounds on there and kind of presses on there or what, but it would have had to have gone like egg shaped to get off of that ball. So, and this whole thing is loose. It's not even tight. I might just buy a new one of these. McMaster Car sells them. I just want to make sure that I have the right threads and approximately the right like length from here to here, that the overall dimensions aren't too different. This piece is very lightweight. I don't know, it might be aluminum. It's very light. But it has to have gotten egg-shaped if it fell off of the ball, I would think, you know. I don't know if I take a hammer and just hit it, if it will go back on there or not, but I think I'm going to just invest in a new one. The ones at McMaster Car are like 15 bucks, so I think that would be the best thing to do, is just buy a new one and keep this one as a spare or something. But yeah, this tractor needs a paint job too, in the worst way. But yeah, let me take this out of here. Yeah, this sucker is really on there. This thread is the same as the thread that's on the power steering arm, which the parts manual says is a 3/4 16 thread. So this is 3/4 16 and this is, they should thread onto each other, and it does. So they're the same thread. So anyways, I'm having trouble getting this off. I need to find a socket that's the right size to get over that. It's really rusted on there, and I can't get these thick adjustable wrenches in this little space right there. They're too wide. So either a socket, or if I have an actual wrench that's that size. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This wrench actually has a size gauge on it. I never really use these things, but these were big nuts and I didn't feel like going back and forth to the house to figure out the size. So let's see, if I look at this little chart here, I don't know that chart's, I don't know where to read it on here. Maybe read it over here. It's like 1 1/4 maybe. Anyways, oh, I got a tape measure here. Let's measure that. Let's see. It's like it's 1 1/8. I think I got a 1 1/8 wrench. Wheel Horse PTO uses that on the mule drive. Let me get one. Well, I found a 1 1/8 inch wrench. Let's see. Hey, what do you know? It fits. So let's figure out if we can get this turd out of here. Cool. Nice. Well, I turn on that with all my might and I can't get it loose. That thing is stuck, man. Holy crap. I might have to cut it off or something, but let me go to McMaster Car here. I'm just wondering how long this joint is. It's roughly 3 inches from side to side. So let's go explore their catalog a little bit and see what we got. I put 2 vice grips on the seat safeties and I was able to get the Deutz with the broken steering back into the driveway. So I was having to go with the hydro in reverse, and then I would just grab the tires and turn them manually. And I got it here where I can work on it. So we're going to have to take this front wheel off, jack up the front axle and pound out that spindle and put the new spindle in. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but you never know. This thing is pretty worn out, so we'll see what we get into, guys. We need new front tires too. Oh, that'll be it for another day. And I really want to paint this thing with some rusty metal primer and take these whole fenders off and sand them down and paint them. I think that's what we got to do. Cool.